We are live. This is the market update. I am your host, Bill Noble. If you need a roadmap in crypto, and you do need a roadmap in crypto, stay with this group. Turn on alerts in Discord so you know when we're going live. And if the content works for you, check out the feedback form down below. Today is a great day. Why? Because crypto's not up. Yes, believe it or not, we have entered that era. If you get a pause day, you should take advantage of it. You should take advantage of it because when this thing goes, it's going to just go. Like go and go and go. People have become used to the range mentality. People are used to being afraid to buy it when it's up. And I'm here to tell you that it's not even up. It's not up. There's a whole new definition of up. Most of this stuff is either at the higher end of a trading range, which is not a big deal, and anything that hasn't made massive new all-time highs is probably a candidate for a rally. So you have Giga Chad, Mog, right? Harry Potter is moving. So you got all of these big meme coins probably finishing moves as leading indicators, only to have the entire rest of the market follow. And get this, including ETH. Now hear this. The legacy market is coming after the Ethereum ETF. They don't care about gas fees. They don't care about better meme coins on Solana. They are going to see a digital asset with a big market cap and liquidity. And I can just feel it. And I looked at the DeMark chart today, and my jaw dropped. We're going to go over the Ethereum ETF. We're going to go over like the sort of the big picture. And then, frankly, you know, the Kaizen altcoin picks. If you got decent altcoin picks, go with it, right? Brian can pick them. You can pick them. You know, this is going to be something where the rising tide is going to lift a lot of boats. And if you get the right altcoins, the one that make money or the one that's useful, or, you know, the smaller hot ones, particularly like maybe in DeFi, forget about it. It's just going to go, go, go. Because what happened yesterday that I didn't really understand when ETH took off, I mean, I understood it, but I didn't make the connection until some of these coins were much higher, is that institutions can play in crypto now. Nobody has to be afraid of Gensler. There's no excuse inside hedge funds. Well, we shouldn't do this because we could get in regulatory trouble. No one's afraid of that, and they're all pouring in. And what they're doing right now in conference rooms, inside big Wall Street firms, is they are like trying to figure out, like, okay, what's the strategy? What are we going to do? Right? This is why when Mike Novogratz said yesterday that the energy around crypto has changed, yeah, that means we're like going back to old-fashioned Wall Street with two phones at the same time. Oh, I need to buy. Oh, I need to buy. All right, let me put you on hold. Oh, you need to buy too? Oh, okay. Hold on. You know, seriously, it is just like everyone needs to buy, and everyone needs to buy now. And everybody who's in like more sophisticated and can go in DeFi is going in DeFi. And then tokenization of asset announcements will just follow, frankly, as publicity stunts to get these ETFs moving. I mean, this is all of Wall Street, all of the 800-pound gorillas, including the U.S. government, trying to come through the door at the same time. And let me emphasize this. Like, if you can't listen to the rest of the show, listen to this. There is no seller in this market. None. Right? In other words, Germany sold. The Mt. Gox people sold. I mean, I don't know why the U.S. government would sell it. Just going to have to buy it back at higher prices. There is no seller. So it's all buyers, no sellers until, I don't know, until the market rebalances itself. This market is way out of balance, and the asymmetric upside risk is huge. So the definition of a dip is a sideways day. So if you have a market that pauses, like, for example, SUI goes up and gives you a 3% decline, that's a dip. A hiccup off the Fed, that's a dip. Fed doesn't cut rates, no one cares, right? In other words, yeah, you might get some volatility, but again, any pause is a dip. which is not what you're used to, because the market is switching into trend mode, which is why I'm moving into some DeMarc charts along with Luxalgo, and we'll go through it all. Okay, so Lee is here. Good morning. Kane, Thomas, Brandon, hello. Alexandra, Great Chief, Riyadh, Hornet, new names here. Stefan, Flo, David, what's up? Malik, Katya, King Precious, what's going on? Justin Hill, Diego, Warmon, Tanya, Dan, good morning. G, Nathaniel, Tim, Miguel, Kamina, welcome. Hornet 99T said, did it start yet? I am right here. Stefan, SG, the OG, welcome. Stefan, Clement, good morning. Okay, people, we must get to it right now. Not for the weak or faint of hearted wins for the best YouTube name this morning. Okay, so Arizona just declared for Donald Trump, making it a clean sweep of all swing states. Basically, the Republican Party, or the right in America, which could arguably be called the middle, especially with what I'm going to show you from Bernie Sanders, but the pro-crypto world now has the presidency, the popular vote, the Senate majority, the House majority, the majority of U.S. state governors, and this is unbelievable, and the majority of U.S. state legislatures. So in America, every state kind of has its own governor or president and Congress or parliament, right? So that seems clear to me. Right? And I think the thing you got to remember about this is that you got 71 days until the inauguration. So Trump has 71 days to make promises and introduce grand ideas, right? He's just going to keep right on rolling on Instagram. He had something like where he's going to institute something in 3 years for the 250th anniversary of America, where, he's going to have this giant, revive this giant fairgrounds in Iowa, and he's going to have it going on for a year. Oh my God. Not to mention what they're talking about doing with Bitcoin. So you have 71 days of Trump bull posting America. And then you're going to have the first 100 days after that, which is normally when there's a huge amount of activity, legislation, executive orders. So you have 171 days of whatever we got going on now. So people, if you haven't been paying attention, if you feel like you missed out, that is completely incorrect. 75K Bitcoin is a joke after, especially what I'm going to show you today, right? 2,800 Ethereum is laughable. It's laughable. Like ETH could be at 3,500, and I think ETH's going to wind up at 4K like in a month. And ETH has the ability to do it in less than that if everybody goes, gee, what's this Ethereum thing all about? Trust me, it can happen. We're going to go through the charts. Okay. Bernie Sanders, who used to be the most left-wing, like, oh my God, I'm scared of Bernie Sanders, right? This guy, they should have embraced him a long time ago, but he towed the party line. And this is absolutely radical. He basically says that the Democratic Party turned its back on working class people, and working class people abandoned them. Okay. They defended the status quo, and the American people are angry and want change, and they're right. Oh my God. And RFKJ, right, says, sadly, too late, right? Watch what happens if the left starts joining in on the Trump government. I think this tweet is a bridge to a massive unity government where it's like all America all the time for everybody. I mean, this is like, I want to go outside and like wave a flag around, but I'm too busy making crypto charts. Okay, naturally, CNN has to point out that, there are all these legal cases against the president-elect, and they have to sort of figure that out. I suggest they do that in a hurry. Okay, so the Securities and Exchange Commission still won't go away. They're trying to get a dismissal of Kraken's motion that, whatever they're doing against Kraken is ridiculous. Again, these guys still acting like they have jobs. It's almost funny. It's not funny if you're Kraken, but it's almost funny. Now, Jerome Powell, the Federal Reserve, is back today. The issue is, are they going to cut interest rates? They're supposed to. They should probably do exactly what they're said or expected to do if they don't want any problems. I can't believe there's a difference between a 25 basis point cut that may or may not be appropriate versus Trump completely going off on Powell. You know what I'm saying? It's like, Powell's just going to be like, we're just going to do the 25, okay? And then he's going to say, we're going to do the 25 and we'll just see what happens later on. Okay. That's what's going to happen, because you don't know what's going to happen with Trump. You don't know if corporations are all of a sudden going to wake up and start hiring people. Again, there's been zero job creation for over a year, at least full-time jobs. So you don't know what's going to happen. And there are problems out there with banks and whatnot, even though those stocks were all up 10%. Powell's just going to do 25 and have a happy holidays. He doesn't want to listen to Trump for 71 days that he should have cut rates. Okay. UK did a cut, right? The EU has already done 75 basis points. The Fed is next, right? So they just have to cut, get the economy so that people's credit cards can get some relief, or at least mortgage rates can come down. Because again, mortgage rates are actually going up because the bond market's freaking out about, Trump and growth and inflation. So this is less relevant to crypto. If anything, bond market consternation gives you a day to get involved. Okay, so it looks like Crypto Mom is not going to be the next chairman of the SEC, which I just can't believe. But Mark here is going to get it, mainly because I think he came out and just broke ranks and said, on October 10th, that the SEC's policies are absurd. This is a guy working inside the organization. Again, I can't believe they're not going to give it to Crypto Mom. Then again, maybe Crypto Mom winds up running the Treasury. I don't know. But all I do know is the key for the SEC is to have Kennedy have the SEC not run by the banks. I would actually prefer to have somebody coming in from the outside. But in other words, the SEC chairman cannot be accountable to Jamie Dimon. He has to be accountable to like RFK and the president, frankly. Okay, SEC commissioner confesses the agency's approach has been a disaster for the crypto industry. Okay, again, this is the guy that they want to put in charge. Okay, within the agency, our agenda is directed by the chairman, and so that the staff all follows his lead. So he broke ranks, and he'll probably get credit for doing that. Now, ETH. This Ethereum ETF is not a joke anymore. It's not, right? There's this huge instrument that could literally drive ETH unto itself. So if the crypto bros don't want ETH, Wall Street will. So ETH goes up massively. ETH is up 7%. ETH is up again today. Bitcoin dominance has clearly topped. Where do you see these these market cap charts for ETH? It's unbelievable. Okay, Kathy is in buying Bitcoin. Again, these momentum stock market investors, the only thing they like better than buying low is buying high. Actually, they love buying high. She loves buying high. She never met a rally she didn't want to buy into. Now, I'm not being mean. I'm saying, hey, if you have a momentum investing community that just wants in, they're just going to market buy. They're realizing when you see some of these statistics that what happens if the government gets involved. Dylan LeClaire says it feels like people don't quite yet understand what this, like Republican sweep thing means, right? In other words, they're going to have the Treasury buying Bitcoin, possibly as a way to back Bitcoin debt, and who knows, back U.S. debt, possibly even creating a Bitcoin yield curve, which I think is the most bullish thing anyone's ever seen. They're going to do it as a wealth effect, right? The common man can go in and put some money in Coinbase, and, if somebody can put $100 in and turn it into $200, it's like you're getting a check from the market, not from the government. So they're doing this, right? Germany sold all their Bitcoin at 54K. I remember that. It was like the end of the world. And I was like, have a nice day. They can buy it all back at 100. They lost $1 billion. They missed out on $1 billion by doing that. Okay, so here's Trump with the World's Fair. Okay, in 3 years, he wants the planet speechless, right? Just like in the 1890s. So, the promises that are going to get made, okay, the things that he's going to be doing to get people excited. I mean, it's almost like the campaign without the campaign. In other words, it's just like, here's what we're going to do to get excited. Here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Every single day. That may include crypto. It may not include crypto, but the more bold he is, the more confidence people are going to have that they're going to follow through on what they want. Right? Now, this may be a little bit insane, but again, the market is too low. The market is too low. Fidelity bought $308 million worth of the Bitcoin ETF, their largest inflow ever. So retail is now pouring in. BlackRock, institutional, Fidelity, retail. Retail is just going to retail's going to look at this as free money. That's what they're going to look at it as. Okay, again, Cynthia Loomis wants the U.S. to acquire 200,000 Bitcoin annually every year for 5 years, totaling 1 million Bitcoin. Game theory is about to heat up, meaning like, wow, we got to buy it before they buy it. Or we got to buy it before even, the rumor of them buying it is enough to buy it. The rumor of this is enough for 100K post-Fed. And again, I can't even believe the fact that the market is hesitating around the Fed is a good thing. And any downside volatility you get is working in your favor. Okay, again, no one is bullish enough. Cynthia is out on the tape, and Cynthia is going to stay out on the tape. Right. In other words, politicians want attention. Cynthia has been this kind of like fringe Bitcoin bull. Now she wants to be a superstar. She's not going to shut up about it. Okay. Again, Trump's biggest thing to crypto would be passing the Bitcoin Act. Now, with all of this said, we do not need, obviously the government doing 1 million Bitcoin is huge, but we do not necessarily need the government to moon crypto, right? I mean, it's not just that the government wants to buy a ton of Bitcoin. Everybody wants to buy a ton of Bitcoin. We know that, right? The question is, what's going to happen with these ETFs, and what's going to happen if people realize that they don't have time to do this? They don't have time anymore. Right. You cannot sit around and go, oh, gee, I'll do this later. Again, the range trading mentality. Yeah, it'll go back to 68. Or yeah, I'll do it later. No, that is absolutely over. You got to buy this thing on any pause or any dip, at least until it gets euphoric. Like, I know bullish sentiment is high, but ETH is at 2,800. Right. You start worrying about bullish sentiment being too high when ETH is at 5K. Then you worry about it. Or Solana is at 250. That's when you go, oh, okay, maybe we can get a correction. There's no rally to correct in most altcoins. Again, and Benjamin Cohen was declaring it dead 2 days ago. Spot Ethereum ETFs, biggest inflow since September. ETH set for monster rally as price near 2.9. Binance, why Ethereum price is up today, factors fueling the rally towards 3,600. Yeah. It's called, Wendy O put out a tweet that said the ticker symbol is ETH. And I said, yeah, it's a meme for Web3. Like anybody who thinks that institutions are not going to want to participate in crypto on ETH, that's where they're going. They don't care about gas fees. They care about network reliability. Vitalik can fix the gas fees later, or there'll be layer twos. And I understand, like maybe like Aave and Uniswap and the things that, run on ETH, the applications, like ETH is the native coin of Base, right? How long before all these things get discovered by institutions? I mean, it's not that there's anything wrong with Solana, but I mean, I'm trying to trade peanut and send transactions back and forth to Coinbase. And it's like, failed transactions, the swap goes through twice. I mean, look, I get it. It's free, but you know what? You get what you pay for. And if I'm telling you right now, I used to work at Wall Street. If I was a portfolio manager and I got to report to a boss who maybe doesn't know a lot about crypto, and I'm like, yeah, we're going to stay on this other network. Thanks. We're going to go on ETH. We're going to pay the commissions to know that basically our shit is going to get from point A to point B, right, without the transaction failing. I know transactions can fail on ETH, but still, right? This is not over. And then you're going to have this ETF mentality kick in ETH, and that's going to be shocking. And remember, ETH is the big daddy of all altcoins, right? Solana can go up, but Solana can take what? Radium, Jupiter, JTO, Solana can take 10 altcoins with it. ETH can take the whole ecosystem. So if ETH ignites, there's going to be no offer, no seller, right? Who's the seller? Crypto stocks smoking. Nothing is going to stop crypto equities. Like, people are going to start doing the math when the U.S. government starts talking about buying Bitcoin. The U.S. government may have to get the Bitcoin by taking over companies. I don't know how they're going to get all this Bitcoin in the open market. Or they may have to have some sort of agreement with the miners that as the Bitcoin is made, it just goes directly over to Uncle Sugar. I mean, how long do you think it's going to take for somebody at, say, Coinbase to go, we better buy a miner? I have been saying this. I mean, it's like I'm some fringe weirdo with this. You have all of these companies that really don't trade at, I mean, they're way off their all-time highs. How are you going to get all this Bitcoin? How are you going to do all this, right? You're going to have to buy these companies. Sui hits new all-time high at $2 and something. You know what? Here's a funny statement. So what? Sui's at $2. Big deal. That's like its old high. Talk to me about these things being out of control when they're like, when it's like top 5 market cap. And this may not be able to get to top 5 market cap because the top 5 market cap coins could explode. I mean, crazy, right? I don't have it yet, but I'm keeping my eye on this MicroStrategy meme coin on ETH. It would be hysterical if ETH took off. And then after ETH took off, you went in and bought the Bitcoin meme coin. Again, this is not investment advice. I'm just telling you what I'm looking at because I'm looking for something on ETH to ignite ETH. Also, this Department of Government Efficiency thing, this is also on ETH. Okay, this is a little pricey at 70 million, but then again, maybe it's not because Elon is going to be bull posting what he's going to be doing with the government, government cost cutting and whatnot. I'm more inclined to move from election stuff over into, oh my God, where is this market going? And FOMOing in, especially in things like ETH and even Solana. I don't know. The large cap universe doesn't feel like you're FOMOing in yet. It doesn't. Okay. I'm going straight to PowerPoint because, this is not funny. This is like, I'm looking at this stuff this morning and I'm like, oh my God, right? People do not understand what's about to happen here. Okay. So this is total crypto market cap. This is a weekly chart. And here's the question. This is a cup and handle, pretty obvious. What happens if it breaks out at the top of this thing? Like, we just got done saying ETH's going to break out, Bitcoin's going to break out, everything's going to break out. Okay, what happens when it does? Right? You're going to have you got 16% upside. So think to yourself, you got at least 16% upside in Bitcoin and probably more than that in other coins until you got to the premium zone on a weekly chart for total crypto market cap. That's at a minimum. Now, the target of this pattern, once they broke out, is like total crypto market cap doubling over a period of years. And they could do something insane. Like they could easily take this like $1 trillion higher from where it is right now. Easily. I mean, if you can add $1 trillion to crypto, to equity market cap in one day, even though, of course, that's a much, much bigger market, you could take this thing from 2.6 to 3.6 by Christmas. You could add $1 trillion to total crypto market cap and still, not even be anywhere near close to the target of this pattern. And if it went to like 3.2 trillion, it really wouldn't be that far above the premium zone. And I think it's a question of time before everything starts blowing through the premium zones and we have to pivot towards like a trend following type of method. Okay, Bitcoin dominance. So speaking of the premium zone not mattering, the premium zone does matter in this. Every top you could think of, Bitcoin dominance, Ethereum versus Bitcoin on the other way. That's just a top, right? In other words, everything now has to start catching up to Bitcoin. And if Bitcoin launches again, then you're going to have, you're going to have one of these things where you're going to have Bitcoin up 10% and ETH and Solana and all this stuff up 20, right? It's just not going to stop because people have to get involved in the networks, right? It's like Michael Saylor thinking, what's the value of the network? If you can find the networks that have value, like Base and all these other ones, if you find the networks that have value, then you find the tokens that are relevant on those networks, forget about it, right? And I think you got to look at layer ones, like just the one that comes to mind is Phantom. I don't have a chart. I'm just saying, if everybody goes to get involved in DeFi and real world assets, there is a huge chunk of this market that's undervalued, right? Now, this is total 2. So total 2 is total crypto market cap without Bitcoin and Ethereum. I'm sorry. Okay, let's start again. Total 2 is total crypto market cap without Bitcoin. So it's led by ETH. Now, do you realize that ETH has been so dead that this metric of market cap, which includes altcoins, right? So it's like the market cap of crypto just without Bitcoin has done absolutely nothing. Nothing. Right? Everyone's like, oh my God, I missed it. Dude, you haven't missed anything. This is at the top of the range. This is where it was prior to the Black Friday crash. This is like the great reset. This is the great reset where it's like, okay, we're unwinding this range mentality and now we're ready to go do something. Well, people, if the U.S. government's going to buy 1 million Bitcoin, then this can go up 20% until it gets to its premium zone. What do you think is going to happen with the rest of the market if ETH goes up 20% and leads this move? And this is just basics. I mean, this is at equilibrium. This is at a balance. So the non-Bitcoin universe is in a balance zone. I mean, that's the market update, people. Total 3, this is total crypto market cap without Bitcoin and Ethereum. So Solana and friends, it's 12% upside till it gets to its premium zone. It's kind of funny that Solana and all the altcoins are not worth $1 trillion. There's nothing about Web3. Web3 is worth $600 billion. That's crazy. It used to be back in 2021, like, oh my God, total crypto market cap is 2 trillion. Seemed like this huge number. Now it's like, oh, okay. Altcoins as a whole are worth 600 billion. Now, every altcoin is not going to come back. So you're going to have to be able to pick and choose to get the real alpha. But again, Brian's got stuff, I got stuff. We all got stuff, right? You got to pick something and take a shot. And if you can't figure it out, there's the Ethereum ETF. Okay. Bitcoin ETF taking out its all-time high. And then you look over here, and you know what you're going to see? Nothing. Nothing. There's no DeMark reversal signals. There's not even a signal that the trend has started yet. Nothing in DeMark. I'm like, oh my God. Because, I mean, you had some signals here that it was the bottom, but this whole move from September on, yeah, the DeMark signal is like, yeah, this is not the trend yet. The trend hasn't started. So this ETF is at 43, and it's probably going to wind up at 50. And I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but in equities, it is. Right? And they're going to come after this thing because it's probably going way beyond 50. This is like 50 minimum. You could do this in 2 weeks. You could do it in 2 weeks. Right? So, I mean, how high can this go? I mean, ETH, what has ETH done? Absolutely nothing. This is like the fifth or sixth, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't know. This is like the 8th time ETH has been hanging around 2,800. There's this huge quantitative DeMark moving average, meaning it doesn't have like a time frame, like 50-day. Machine just kind of draws it, right? 3,500 is the only level above 2,800. And if it gets above 2,800, look at this candle over here. I mean, ETH went from 3,250 to 2,700 in 1 week. So why couldn't that just reverse itself? And you got to start thinking about this weekend, right? Like, everybody goes home knowing that they got to buy the ETH ETF on Monday. These ETF guys are going to be panicking, thinking to themselves, oh my God, with crypto, we have to sit around for 48 hours before we can get back involved with the ETF. So if we don't buy this today or tomorrow, right? Or if we get lucky and the market sits still so we can get involved, what do you think the crypto bros are going to do over the weekend, knowing that these ETF guys are going to have to get involved? They could take this thing up. You could have the biggest crypto weekend you've had in I don't know how long. And you're going to look at this chart. Like, if you're listening to me, you'd be like, wow, this guy's crazy. He's off his rocker. He's gone full bullish crazy. And then you look at the chart and nothing has happened. Nothing. We got one of the biggest events in American history. We got one of the biggest events in crypto history, and nothing has happened. Nothing. You go to IBIT on a weekly chart. This could go on for 3 more weeks. Right? I know there's not a lot of history, but the cool thing about the mark is it'll start giving you these numbers that can range from 1 to 9. So the first part of a trend before a pause, you have this week, next week, and the week after that. What do you think is going to happen in this thing potentially on Friday or on Monday? Right? When everybody goes, okay, like Barron's will sit down like that. This is what in my day, right? Like, everybody would read the Wall Street Journal during the week, but the most important thing would be to read Barron's on the weekend because they had the smartest people and they would digest the market. They would call everybody at Wall Street and they would compile it so we could all sit down and think without the emotion of the market. That's what it was in legacy. Now, the legacy guys will write over the weekend, but the crypto bros could go ballistic. So they either got to buy it, they got today, tomorrow, or they got to do it Monday. They got 3 days to figure this out before this thing goes ballistic for 3 weeks. So you got 3 days to figure it out for 3 weeks, or so it should be, so it could be in the minds of people in equities. I don't want you to FOMO into a meme coin up 75% and think that that's the way to do this, right? There's a lot of money to be made in the bigger coins, and then you can translate that over into the smaller coins. It's kind of how I'm looking at it. SUI. All right, SUI, all-time high. Everything's breaking out. Oh, my God. Yeah, the trend just started, dude. And if anything, they give you a pause today or tomorrow in SUI, conceivably, that could be the last dip before this thing goes to $5. Right? Because I think once they start coming after this stuff, they're just not going to stop. Especially if it's being led by Bitcoin. You could have this huge move, in the big caps. In other words, all the meme coins, the small meme coins are now big meme coins. The meme coins were the speculative assets that lead the market. And then once the meme coins all get to $1 billion, then boom, the rest of the market follows. This is the ETH ETF to just drive this point home. There's a DeMark point at $20.43. Some stock market person is going to look at this and go, buy me $2 billion. And then there's also this DeMark signal here that's very weird. The next big down move in the Ethereum ETF will be a 13 bottom signal. So any drop in this thing will be a bottom, even if it occurs from much higher levels. I don't see any reason why this can't go up 10% and go to 23. That's like the next DeMark point. And all you'd be doing is you'd be filling in this gap from Black Monday. You see this gap over here, right? This was the Black Monday crash over the weekend. Can you imagine Ethereum going up 15% just to fill a gap? We're not even talking about the trend. We're just talking about filling a gap. So that is a 45-minute live stream. Not even including what can happen in altcoins, right? Stefan says England cut rates this morning. Powell has to do it. I completely agree. Stefan is saying Trump is calling for an end to global hostilities. It's like, look, man, there's just way too much great shit to do in the world. Excuse me. Then have people hurting each other. Let's have the World's Fair. Let's buy Bitcoin. As Elon said, America is a nation of builders. Let's go build something. Let's stop destroying stuff. Seriously. That and just the basic common sense humanity. I mean, I know America is not the world, but I mean, when you have everybody in the United States, which is allegedly a divided, ugly country, and Ray Dalio's like, oh my God, the world's going to burn and all this stuff, and you have to leave the country. Actually, bro, no, you don't. And I said that on LinkedIn. You just have to buy Bitcoin. Okay. Which Ethereum ETFs are good buys? I don't know, man. I can't give investment advice on this, but I know that the BlackRock Bitcoin ETF, all right, the symbol is ETHA. And I would stick with whatever's got the most volume and the most liquidity. Fidelity probably also has a product. And again, that's a big institutional company. Okay. Okay. Brandon is asking, do you still like QI? Yes, I think that's still on our list. Let's make sure it hasn't done anything ridiculous on the downside. Okay. QI is a Coinbase coin related to Avalanche staking. Okay, so this is probably an example of what you would get with any altcoin that's coming off of its lows. It remains to be seen if Avalanche is going to wake up. I don't know if that's true or not. Okay, this broke out of a triangle and then came back inside of it. I don't know, man. Let's give it a chance. If Lux Algo wants to buy it, and there was a lot of green money flow on the way down, this whole thing about liquid staking like Lido, JTO, I know this is Avalanche, and that's the question that you're asking, but dude, Crypto 101. So here's the bottom line. Crypto 101, right? Bitcoin goes up, then ETH follows. Then after ETH, the whole rest of the ecosystem goes probably in pieces. The new Magnificent Seven, everyone's asking me what that is. The market's going to tell you what that is. The market's going to tell you, and it probably already is. You probably have, things like Solana and Sui. I mean, that's two right there. Those are your layer ones, right? Then you're going to have all these real world asset coins. Everybody's afraid of a token unlock in Ondo. Really? Okay. Well, there's a big token unlock in Ondo, and the whole world has to get on chain following BlackRock. So somewhere in there were real world asset plays, DeFi. It's like Maker or Uniswap on the boring side, right? Pendle and Maple and Ribbon, right? Some of the things I'm giving my group. So I'm going to leave it there for today. A pause is a dip, and don't be the person that gets surprised by what happens next. We'll see you next time.